Good morning, Minister Kuzner. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great, and great to be with you and your listeners.
Thank you very much. Let's start with some of the major announcements which were announced this week, starting with the reopening of the Brantford jail. And this announcement will open another 125 beds in the Ontario's correction offices.
Well, thank you. It was really a great day, and great to be back in Brantford. When we came to office, we realized that the prior Ontario Liberal government closed over 2,000 spaces that they took offline. They closed 8 jails. They didn't have to do that. And I've been very, very focused on building out our capacity because we want to keep Ontario safe. We want to make sure that if somebody breaks the law, we have room for them. But really coming back to Brantford was an example of saying, here is a well-located jail that's next to a courthouse that was closed by the Ontario Liberal government for no reason. And we're doing everything we can, Nitin, to try to get it reopened. And we're taking the next steps in planning. And I hope to have more to say soon. But that was a great announcement.
But what was the reason that this jail was closed down in 2017?
Well, you'd have to ask them why they decided to close 8 jails, including a jail in Toronto near the airport on Disco Road. Like, they never told people that that's what they were doing. They never believed in public safety the same way we do. We want to make sure that we have more boots on the ground, more police officers on the ground. And I said, actually, out in Windsor at my second announcement this week, and I said it in Peel at my third announcement, that we're proud that in the last 4 years, 8,000 new police officers are on our streets. And believe it or not, 1,000 are in Peel. That's a huge number. We're really proud of that.
Minister Kuzner, there is another great breakthrough announcement for the Peel Regional Police that they got first of their helicopter for the surveillance of Brampton, Mississauga and Caledon, because Peel region is the most vulnerable region where the crime level is very high. How you see this helicopter is going to help the reducing the crime and tracking the stolen vehicles and organized crime?
I appreciate the question, and the helicopter will make a very big difference. Firstly, our government came forward, it wasn't even that long ago, less than 2 years ago, and we said we want to make sure we have eyes in the sky. So we came forward at the provincial government's expense to purchase helicopters for Halton, for Peel, for Toronto, for Durham, for Ottawa, now for Niagara region and for the Windsor area, to deliver and see the first helicopter with the Peel logo on it. Really made me very proud, because I always look upon Peel as being a flagship police service unlike anything else in our country, and great Chief Duriapa and his deputies. But really the whole purpose of the helicopter is to be responsive to an active act of criminality. That helicopter can be airborne in a matter of minutes. It can cover the 4 corners of Peel region, Mississauga, Brampton, within 6 minutes. And when there is a criminal activity going on, they radio the helicopter. The helicopter has eyes in the sky with thermal imaging, and it can help make a difference. But really, Nitin, to see that first helicopter in Peel was a great day.
Minister, the one helicopter, can it serve the Peel region for the surveillance? Is good enough?
That one helicopter will make a big difference. But, Peel region has always been so innovative and imaginative when it comes to utilizing every asset they have to fight crime. And whether it's the Gun and Gangs Task Force, whether it's other units that they have, they're absolutely in tune with the communities of Brampton and Mississauga. They do a phenomenal job. But most importantly, they're agile, where they can respond to what's going on. I look at the work they did to fight auto theft, and the chief had spoken about the numbers that are going down. There's more work to do. There's a lot of work to do, but at least we have a police service that has grown in size as a serious as a serious measure to take on these criminals. Yeah, the criminals have been getting more sophisticated, and you know what? So are we. So is the Peel Regional Police Service. They're a lot more sophisticated, and I'm really proud of them.
Minister, final question about the justice system, because many Canadians feel that our justice system is broken. So, another police officer, Toronto police officer, got shot while on the scene on the robbery. And we had seen that that person was wanted in several counts, and he was a repeated offender. More than 600 plus officers got injured on duty. Question is, Premier Ford also in yesterday's press conference said that criminal court is with the federal, but justice of peace is with the province. So, but federal announced that criminal code, we have made 80 changes, amendments in the criminal code. What is the scenario? In today's news, when we covered it, that OPP caught the cannabis, those who are growing cannabis, 1.5 million worth of cannabis grow up in Brampton. But result is these all two convicted people, those who were charged, they are released on the bail. Most of the people are still getting bail. So is the criminal code not effective? Is the new law implemented with effect from 15 July? What is the status? What's happening here, Minister Kerzner?
Well, thanks, Nitin. Let me try to break down your question. Firstly, I want to also comment on our Toronto police officer that was wounded yesterday and shot at by a person who was a repeat offender. There's no place for that. There must be much more serious consequences for harming a police officer, and we're going to continue to advocate for that. And my thoughts and prayers are with the family for his speedy recovery. I've been speaking to the association president, Clayton Campbell, and please God, our officer will be on the road to recovery very, very soon. But yes, the changes and the advocacy that the provincial government made to the federal government to change the criminal code and toughen up the laws, we're not going to stop. The laws, the federal government's laws were very, very weak. And thanks to the leadership of Premier Ford and our caucus, our government, we advocated to the federal government, start making changes, because you see what happens. A person, a violent and repeat offender, shoots at a police officer. It's completely unacceptable. The federal government has a lot more work to do, but they're going down the right direction, and we are going to continue to push them. With regards to the judges and JPs, they have to follow the federal laws, and we can't interfere with their judicial decisions on how they do their work. But I can tell you this, I'll echo what the Premier said. The judges have to understand that there is consequences for them making decisions that put a person back on the street to commit another crime. At the provincial level, we're not stopping. We came forward with a very, very large investment just a couple of years ago that strengthens the repeat and violent offender parole enforcement unit, the ROPE unit at the OPP. We make sure that on the judicial side, our great Attorney General has put in place more Crown attorneys, more judges that will understand the consequence of letting somebody out back on bail who is a violent and repeat offender. And Nitin, we're going to continue to remind the federal government that while they've taken a baby step to change some of the laws, they have more work to do. We're going to speak to them respectfully and courteously, but I'll tell you, we're speaking to them firmly. It's a great question.
Yes, but Minister, do you agree that still after 15 July also these repeat offenders, judges are letting them go out on bail even though the crimes are quite heinous?
Well, that's exactly what's happening. But listen, we've got some judges and JPs that are very, very strict too. We can't affect the decision that a judge or a JP makes. We want them to be aware of the consequences of letting a violent and repeat offender back on the street. One of the things we did, Nitin, that I think is important is lobby the federal government for a concept that you have to prove to the judge called reverse onus. You have to prove to the judge why you're not a threat to be let out from the jail.
Yes.
And there's a lot of positive conversations that we have had. And most importantly, it's a strong advocacy of Premier Ford with two words that define exactly what he believes in, and that's called Protect Ontario. And we're not going to stop.
And being a Solicitor General, what is your final message to Ontarians in terms of the crime, what they are seeing every day?
Well, I can tell you this to all your listeners, that we take with the greatest of priority a person's safety. Because I say publicly, we all, no matter where we came from, no matter when our families came to Ontario, this equal right of living safely in our own homes and communities so that we can, send our kids to school and check in on our seniors and shop and go to work and play in the park and worship safely. And there's nothing more important than that. And that's what drives me every single day, 24 hours a day, to do everything that I can to help Premier Ford. We've got a great team in government. I've got a great team at the ministry that's supporting us. And you know what? It feels good at the end of the day that you're trying to make a difference. And you can look somebody in the face and say to them, you're not alone. We're going to work to do everything we can, not accept the status quo, but make things better and protect Ontario.
Minister Kazner, thank you very much for the time.
It's great to be with you. Have a great day.
Thank you.